Naalala mo pa ba? Ang pagdurusa. Ang masasayang alaala. Ang pagtuklas ng katotohanan. Ang pag-aabuso. Ang paghihirap. Ang korupsyon. Ang dahilan ng paglaban. Uulitin ko. Naaalala mo pa ba?
Good day, Mrs. Eliot. I am Gerah Mae Pasaol. We are the Group 7, and we are here to tackle about what is El Filibusterismo. El Filibusterismo is the second novel written by Works of Rizal, which is the sequel of Johnema V. It was also written in Spanish, and it is also known as the Reign of Greed, and sometimes also called, in its short term, El Fele. This novel continues the novelist's criticism of the abuses and corruptions penetrated by the Spanish government. The novel's title is Spanish for the subversion, referring to the character's actions against the Spanish colonial government. And later on, Rizal's novels indirectly became the inspiration to start the Philippine Revolution. This novel is translated in a lot of languages like English, German, French, Japanese, Tagalog, Ilonggo, and a lot of languages. And this novel became popular and some adaptations were being made, such as films, theater stories, and more. But before it happened today, past is always an important aspect for us to know the story behind all our curiosity. That's why me and my group mates are going to tackle about that furthermore. And now, let's move on to the rest of the vital and important topics and discussions that we are going to discuss to you today.
Anong masasabi niyo sa pagpapatayo ng akademya?
Isang mapanghaas na hiling bukod sa pagbaliwala ng aming kapangyarihan.
Para sa bahay ni Bara, nakalimutan mo na ba?
Bakit ba nagkakaganyan ka, anak?
Tama na! Sindihan na ba natin ang Medya, Placido?
Di yata't di mo nauunawaan.
Tama na, padre. Tama na. Ilagay mo lahat ng gusto mong guhit na ilagay pero wala kang karapatang laitin ako.
Ano ang ibig sa amin ng mga estudyante?
Tanging ibig namin ay tumupad kayo sa inyong mga tungkulin. Mahirap bang intindihin yun?
Ginoo,
Anong nangyari?
si Maria Clara, wala na.
Ano? Hindi maaari! Hindi maaari!
An edition of El Filibusterismo. On October 1887, he began writing it in Calamba while practicing medicine. 1888, he made changes in the plot and revised the chapter already written. He wrote more chapters in Paris, Madrid, and Biarritz. On March 29, 1891, he finished the manuscript in Biarritz after 3 years. From Brussels, Rizal moved to Ghent, who is a famous university in Belgium, where in Ghent printing was cheaper. September 18, 1891, El Filibusterismo came off the press. On July 5, 1891, Rizal left Brussels for Ghent reasons. 1. The cost of living was lower, and 2. The cost of printing in Ghent was cheaper than in Brussels. And also, to escape from the enticing attraction of Petite Suzanne, who is a niece of a landlady, who Rizal had a transitory romance. Owing to his limited funds, Rizal lived in a cheap boarding house with Jose Alejandro as roommate. They lived frugally in Ghent for 3 months from July to September. To economize further on their living expenses, they prepared their own breakfast in their room. Next is the printing of El Filibusterismo. The publisher F. Meyer van Loo Press, number 66, Vienderin Street, who was willing to print his book on installment basis. He pawned his jewels in order to pay the down payment and early partial expenses during the printing of the novel. Rizal became desperate because his funds were running low. He received some money from Basa and 200 from Rodriguez Arias for the copies of Morga's Successus sold in Manila, but these funds were also used up. July 1891, Rizal wrote a letter to Basa saying that if no money comes, he will have to stop its publication. August 6, the printing had to be suspended, as Rizal feared, because he could no longer give the necessary funds to the printer.
So in the previous topic lately that was being discussed by Jhea, the printing of El Filibusterismo was being suspended because Rizal could no longer give the necessary funds to print the book and publish the book. And his funds ran out in Ghent. Similar to what happened or what he experienced in Berlin while he was doing his novel. And because of that, Rizal got disappointed for a meantime. And in his morbid moments of despair, Rizal almost burned the manuscript of El Filibusterismo. And when everything seemed to be lost, help came from an unexpected source. And that source, or that savior, was Valentin Ventura. Valentin Ventura in Paris learned of Rizal's predicament, and he immediately sent funds for Rizal, sent amount needed to finish the publication of the novel, which is in my research, Ventura was one of the Filipinos who promised to be the co-author of Rizal for his first book, but it happened that he did not contribute. He contributed nothing. But at least in the second chance, in the second novel that Rizal created, Ventura gave a very big help, and he became the savior of the El Filibusterismo's publishing and printing. So after that, September 18, 1891, El Filibusterismo came off the press. And after that, when it came off the press and it was being published and being printed, Rizal immediately sent on this date printed copies to Hong Kong, and the copies was sent to Basa, and the other one is sent to was sent to Secto Lopez. And because Rizal feel grateful of the help of Ventura, Rizal donated the original manuscript and autographed printed copy to Valentin Ventura. He also sent other complimentary copies to Blumentritt, Mariano Ponce, Graciano Lopez Jaina, Pardo de Tavera, Antonio and Juan Luna, and his other friends, his other Filipino friends. So all copies of the first edition, which is the Ghent edition of El Filibusterismo, were placed in wooden boxes and was shipped to Hong Kong. But there was a trouble happen. Almost all the boxes were confiscated and the books were lost. And it came to pass that the book immediately became rare and few available Ghent copies were sold at very high prices, reaching as high as 400 pesetas per copy. Because of what happened in that situation, El Filibusterismo became limited on that time. It became expensive because some of it were being lost, other copies were being misplaced and everything, which is, we don't know what really happened. But for us Filipinos, if it will happen to us, it is very sad to know, because Rizal did his best for that book, and it just happened that the copies lost, but still there were copies that remained on that time.
Gomborza. Dr. Jose Rizal dedicated El Filibusterismo to Father Gomez, Father Burgos, and Father Zamora, who is executed in Bagumbayan Field in February 17, 1872. The original manuscript of El Filibusterismo in Rizal's own handwriting is now preserved in the Filipiniana Division of the Bureau of Public Library, Manila. It had been acquired by the Philippine government from Valentin Ventura for 10,000 pesos. There are two features of El Filibusterismo, or the manuscript does not appear in the printed book, namely the foreword and the warning. These two were not put in print eventually to save printing costs. Foreword appeared just before the dedicatory page in the manuscript. It is for the Filipino people and the government. Warning, found on the other side of the dedication. The title page of El Filibusterismo contains an inscription written by Ferdinand Blumentritt.
Ferdinand Blumentritt, Synopsis of Il Filibusterismo. So, Il Filibusterismo is a part 2 or the sequel of No Limitang Jhea. And unlike the No Limitang Jhea, this novel is more revolutionary and more tragic. So the hero of this novel is Simon. So he was Crisostomo Ibarra in No Limitang Jhea. So with the help of Elias, he escaped from Laguna de Bay and fled to Cuba, where he became rich and befriended the Spanish officials. So after many years, he returned to the Philippines, where he can freely move around. So he is a powerful figure, but not only because he is a rich jeweler, but also he is a close friend of the Governor General. Outwardly, Simon is a friend of Spain, but deep in his heart, he is cherishing a terrible revenge against the Spanish authorities. So his two magnificent obsessions are to rescue Maria Clara from the nunnery of Santa Clara and to foment a revolution against the hated Spanish masters. So the story of Il Filibusterismo started in the round-shaped steamer called Taboo. So this steamer is upstream the Pasig from Manila to Laguna de Bay. So among the passengers, we have Simon, the new Victorino, who is looking for his husband, Tiborcio de Espandania. We have also Paulita Gomez, Benzabe, Padre Sibayla, Padre Camora, Don Custodio, Padre Salve, Padre Irene, and Padre Florentino. Simon is a man of wealth and mystery and a very close friend of the governor general. So, by his influence in the Malacanang, he has been called as the Brown Cardinal or the Black Eminence. Through his influence, he encourages corruption in the government and also promote the oppression of the masses and hasten the moral degradation of the country in order for the people to feel desperate and fight. So he smuggles arms from the Chinese merchant, and his first attempt on taking revenge doesn't work because of Maria Clara's death. And so the next plan that he do is during the wedding of Pauleta Gomez and Juanito Pilais, and he does that through a gift, which is the lump that they don't have any idea. Aside Basilio, his assistant, son of Sisa, so that lump will explode. So in that area also, there are a lot of people, including the governor general, the friars, and the government officials. So there is this one man named Isagani, a friend of Basilio. So Isagani has been rejected by the bride, Paulita Gomez. So Basilio warned Isagani to go away to the venue because something will happen. So upon hearing the horrible secret, Isagani realized that his beloved Paulita will be in great danger. So what he does is he returns to the venue and throw away the lump, and the lump explode in the river. So the revolutionary plot has been discovered. Simon was being cornered by the soldiers, and he escaped and headed to the home of Father Florentino. So the Spanish authorities know the presence of Simon in the home of Father Florentino, and the Lieutenant Perez sent a letter to the home of Florentino that he will came at 8 o'clock to arrest Simon. So Simon eluded the arrest by taking poison. So upon dying, he confesses to Father Florentino. He revealed his true identity. His plan and wealth is his way to avenge himself from the enemies. So I have mentioned earlier the characters. So there are other characters as well. So it can be seen in the PowerPoint presentation, in the presentation. So now I'll be presenting the comparison of the Noli Me Tangere and the El Filibusterismo. So the overview is the part 1 and the part 2, the sequel, and what could be that. So the Noli Me Tangere is a romantic novel. It is a work of heart, a book of feelings. It has freshness, color, humor, lightness, and wit. While the Filibusterismo or the Fili is a political novel. It is a work of the head, a book of the thought. It contains bitterness, hatred, pain, violence, and sorrow. So both are good novels from the point of view in history. Both are purely academic. Both depict the realistic colors, the actual conditions of the Philippines and the Filipinos during the decadent days of the Spanish rule. Both are instrumental in awakening the spirit of Filipino nationalism, and both are responsible in paving the ground for the Philippine Revolution that brought about the downfall of Spain.
Rizal's unfinished third novel. Did you know that Dr. Jose Rizal has an unfinished novel? It was his third novel. Even before Lopez Haina suggested the writing of another novel, Rizal had already in mind to open a third novel. September 22, 1891. 4 days after the Philly came off the press, he wrote to Blumentritt, "I am thinking of writing a third novel, an oval in the modern sense of the word, but this time politics will not find much space in it, but ethics will play the principal role. I shall deal mainly with the habits and customs of the Filipinos, and only 2 Spaniards, the friar curate and the lieutenant of the Guardia Civil, will be there. I wish to be there. I wish to be humorous, satirical, and witty, to weep and to laugh amidst tears, that is to cry bitterly." October 18, 1891. Rizal boarded to the steamer Milbourne in Marseilles, bound for Hong Kong. During the voyage, he began writing the third novel in Tagalog, which he intended for Tagalog readers. In Hong Kong, he continued it, but for some reason or another, he did not finish it. The unfinished third novel has no title. It consists of 44 pages, 33 centimeters by 21 centimeters. In Rizal's handwriting, still in manuscript form, it is preserved in the National Library, Manila. The story of this unfinished novel begins with the solemn burial of Prince Tagolima, son of Sultan Zaide of Ternate, on Malapad na Bato, a big rock on the bank of the Pasig River. Sultan Zaide, with his royal family and retainers, was taken prisoner by the Spaniards during the wars in the Moluccas and brought to Manila. The old Sultan, his children, and followers were promised good treatment, but the Spaniards forgot their promise and let them die one by one in misery. The hero of the novel was Camandagan, a descendant of Lacandula, last king of Tondo. He plotted to regain the lost freedom of his fathers. One day, he saved his 2 beautiful granddaughters, Maligaya and Sinagtala, from the lustful Spaniards, the Cura and the Encomendera of Bay Laguna. It is said that Rizal was fortunate not to have finished this novel because it would have caused greater scandal and more Spanish vengeance on him.
Hi everyone, I am Alice Letim and I am the last reporter of Group 7. So my topic is about the other unfinished novels of our Filipino patriot, Dr. Jose Rizal. I think there are really lots of novels that he wasn't able to finish, but for now, I'm just gonna share to you some of it. So the first one is the Macamisa. The manuscript was found by historian Ambit Ocampo in 1987. So while he was going through a 245-page collection of papers. So some says that this was supposedly a sequel of El Filibusterismo. And this is a Tagalog novel, and it is also written in a kinda sarcastic way, which is for me the best way to write about Spanish colonial. So it only has 2 chapters, and it consists of 2 pages only. Next one is the Dapitan. So this is to intentionally describe the beauty of the town and its inhabitants from the point of view of someone anonymous. So in this novel, he was very proud of the place and its fruitful variety of achievements. And this is written in ironic Spanish. And it also consists 8 pages only. So the other novels was about the life in Chile and also about Cristobal. But
Sad to say, aside from he wasn't able to finish the novel, he also wasn't able to create its title. And before I end this video, I want to share to you guys what are the real objectives of Dr. Jose Rizal. Why did he choose to write these novels? So first is of course to defend the Filipino people. Next is to slap the reality of how the Filipinos truly suffered during the Spanish colonial. Then the third one is to discuss about what is our religion and beliefs, how it can affect our daily lives, and how it could manipulate us. So yeah, we should be mindful, not just in our religion, but in the people that surrounds us, that influences us. So the next one and the last one is to expose the wrongdoings of Filipinos that causes us to fail. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoy watching our video presentation, and most important thing, I hope you guys learn from it, because I believe that a page of history is worth a pound of logic. Thank you for watching. Bye!
Ito na ang pagkakataon. Ipakita natin na hindi tayo mga dugong alipin. Samahan niyo akong maging magsik.
Sige, Carolino. Ipakita mo ang kagalingan mong tumadla.
Uulitin ko. Naaalala mo ba? Ginoong Ibarra?